Let's move to this. Days before Parliament considers the national budget, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana tabled 2 weeks ago. The leading party in the government of national unity, the ANC, still hasn't been able to convince a sufficient number of parties to vote with it. Today is ultimately one of the last days for the ANC's National Executive Committee meeting. The matter is top of the agenda. Vuyo Mvoko joins us from the meeting venue at the Birchwood Hotel in Boksburg. Vuyo, I don't know if you've been able to get sort of any murmurings, any wording with regards to if it doesn't get the kind of votes within the party and by some of the other parties of the GNU, what will the ANC do then?
Well, that, of course, is the big question, and that is what the ANC leadership and the biggest structure at the moment, in fact, the one structure in between conferences that is able to take decisions for the ANC is considering at the meeting that is currently taking place. They're on a break now for a few minutes before they reconvene. And as you were saying, that issue is top of the agenda. But as things stand, they haven't been able to convince the Democratic Alliance, which is the ANC's biggest partner in the government of national unity, to vote with it. The DAS, of course, put a cat among pigeons by saying, look, the biggest issue that is of concern to everyone is, of course, the VAT increase, 0.5%. The DA is saying, look, we are prepared to vote for you, even though we disagree with you on increasing VAT. But if you are prepared to have a conversation around a whole host of issues, around how we can move forward with regard to reigniting the economy, but decoded, what the DA is actually saying is, we want you to reopen talks around expropriation without compensation, around the national health insurance, and around Bella. Then we can talk, and we will possibly vote with you if we agree on how to proceed on those matters. Now, that is not finding resonance in the room where the ANC National Executive Committee is meeting. It's an absolute no from the ANC. Now, they have gone to other political parties outside of the national government, the government of national unity, your EFFs, your MK parties, and as things stand, none of those parties seem to be biting. So a lot is at stake. We are going to have a briefing at about 12 o'clock or so. We will get a sense from the people delegated by the National Executive Committee to come and speak to the media and tell us where exactly they are.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit more information with regards to, some of the other steps that they look to be taking as well. I mean, yesterday's media briefing gave a sense of understanding of even things like power, the next plans as well, both Park Stau as well, then as Jose and Ramagopa, both ministers had perhaps shared a sense of that. Do we know if we will get further information then today, or will this only be closed out perhaps by commentary by maybe President Cyril Ramaphosa tomorrow or today?
Well, look, even though we are focusing a lot on the budget, the geopolitical situation is a big issue. In fact, I'm reliably informed that for the most part of yesterday, they were talking about the geopolitical situation, and a big part of the briefing that's going to take place in the next 40 or so minutes, if they stick to time, is going to be around the geopolitics. There's a nervousness, of course, around what President Donald Trump has been doing and what it means for the South African economy. economy, the tariffs, AGOA, all those issues have received actually a great deal of attention at this meeting, I am told. And we're going to get a sense at about at 12 o'clock as to what the ANC has resolved on those issues. Pakstow made it absolutely abundantly clear yesterday that the ANC wants us to remain in AGOA for all the obvious economical reasons, and efforts are being made to have a conference where the matter will be discussed thoroughly, but also the ANC wants the government to send a delegation to the United States of America to convince all and sundry that not only are we interested as a country to stay in AGOA, but we want to enhance and further develop relations with the United States of America, an important trading partner. Of course, all of this coming on the back of the expulsion of our ambassador to the United States, Ibrahim Rasool, a week ago. So that matter is receiving utmost attention. But as you correctly point out, President Cyril Ramaphosa will close the National Executive Committee meeting later today. It was initially meant to go for 4 days, but they reckon they have made sufficient progress that, to the extent that the meeting is going to come to an end today, and President Cyril Ramaphosa will, of course, close the meeting, and that speech we are going to be able to broadcast a little later on when it happens. Arabina.
Vuyo, thank you so much for that reporting. Indeed, we'll be awaiting that closing then statement from President Cyril Ramaphosa.